So often what we get to work on is big and dramatic, but it isn't the kind of pretty thing. It sounds crazy to say that a nightmare is pretty, but it really was. It was beautiful, attractive work.
I think my favorite part was really the creativity that the team showed, because these tasks that we had to do on the show were very, very unique, and they were inspired by this dream-like nature of the movie. The teams had to really adapt really quickly and really think outside the box, even more than usual on Slumberland.
It was quite difficult in some respects because of the technically challenging nature of the work. It was really very non-linear. There's always, with heavy effects shows, a certain amount of, we don't know what this is going to look like until we've done it. With this one, it took a lot of work to get everybody onto the same page about what they were trying to do. But it was just a small enough team that people could actually all talk to each other and know what was happening.
There was a motion capture shoot done in Toronto. Myself and the visual effects supervisor and DFX supervisor were able to attend virtually, which was really helpful because we were able to give some pointers all based around sort of lyrical dance moves, which was really nice. It was really satisfying actually, because it's a genuinely beautiful thing to look at. Obviously these are human dancers, but in the dream these dancers are made of butterflies. They are these sort of human-shaped clouds of butterflies.
I had a aha moment where rather than changing the butterflies, I could change the textures per butterflies, which meant that the memory management throughout the whole sequence could be kept as light as a normal instancing system. So what we did is, rather than manipulating the UVs, which you would normally do on an object so they can read a texture, we took the textures and worked out the coordinate system that the texture needed to shift. So when it was rendered through the butterflies' UVs, it gave the appearance that they were taking on the object they landed on. That we used quite a lot in the lobby, but also on the dancers.
The goal was to keep their features, but at the same time give this very ethereal and dream-like motion to the butterflies. And so these caches were used as an asset rather than the traditional shot workflow.
As a producer, and obviously sometimes I'm very much in the dark about what the effects team are doing, but on this one in particular, I spent a lot of the show really quite terrified about what was going to come out. It's such a fine line. It has to be right on that edge between scary and attractive. That's what a dream universe has to be. It has to suck you in and make you feel a little bit scared, a little bit nervous, but also really be able to wallow in the look of the thing.
Now, main focus really was the nightmare, which is the name of the giant squid. So this is a giant creature that is essentially the embodiment of the protagonist's nightmares. We knew that this was a squid that was going to end up in a kind of inky, smoky form. So we knew we had to be very careful that the underlying creature had to feel heavy, weighty, and have presence in all these shots. Animation-wise, that's a really tricky balance to strike.
The team started very small for the first part of the show as we did development work on the look of the squid. Half a dozen people worked on it for several months. It grew very rapidly towards the end of the schedule. I think at our most we had about 250 people.
There was a rig captured where the actress was tumbled, but she couldn't quite propel herself under gravity. So we had to replace quite a lot of her body with digital. So it gave the illusion of buoyancy. To also sell the fact that she's moving through such a large volume of water, we had to work quite closely with figuring out the attenuation and the absorption of light underwater, but also work so at the point at which she was receiving the light, it kind of made sense and comp could actually use it to integrate her into the plates.
One of the trickiest bits was at the end, actually, Flip comes to save Nemo from the squid, and he's actually flying a plane underwater. So in place of doing a bit of the more traditional effects we would have done for a plane, we were actually adding bubbles. That was definitely an interesting challenge.
A lot of people have said to me it was so nice to work on something that they could watch with their younger children, because so much of what we do really isn't something you want to sit down with an 8-year-old. So yes, I passed it along to my niece and she was thrilled to watch it.
We've all got our own childhood movies, right, that sort of have that little bit of darkness in there that kind of introduce you to the kinds of movies you then enjoy as an adult. I think for this generation, this is a perfect movie for that.